Mercedes Money or Sasha Banks? The boss or the CEO? There is non-stop talk, largely led by Mercedes Varnado herself, as to where she is going to land, either the WWE or AEW. But there's also been offers from elsewhere. There's a whole world of confusion, largely because those who are trying to answer the question are being misquoted by those who aren't trying to answer the question. Let's make sense of this. Let's look at the reports and let's find out where the most likely landing spot is for Mercedes Money and why, suddenly, people are making a lot of money pretending that they know the answer. We're going to start by looking at the AI concept of Google, because this has really caused a lot of this mess. If you search for example, Mercedes Money to WWE, trying to work out if she's going there, the answer you get right at the top is from Forbes. According to Dave Meltzer, quote from WrestlingNews.co, Money and WWE are far apart on money on a potential contract that could bring the former women's champion back to the company after a nearly 2-year absence. She was absolutely negotiating with WWE. The first thing I have to say there is that this quote comes from Forbes. No, it doesn't. Dave Meltzer. No, it doesn't. WrestlingNews.co. 3 different companies involved in actually saying one thing. That immediately calls the whole thing into question, because it's hardly a first-hand source. Mercedes Money herself, and for her own part, has said nothing. Mercedes Money, however, seems to be given a lot of the blame. Inez McVeigh Inside the Ropes on the 24th of December. Hope you had a good Christmas, mate. Mercedes Money dropped several WWE teases in cryptic new posts. He says Money herself has now added fuel to the fire with a series of cryptic new social media posts. On her Instagram story, Money shared several photos of fan-made Funko Pop vinyl figures that represent various points during her WWE career. The WWE logo can be seen on all the figures' boxes, and they also feature Sasha Banks as her name, not Mercedes Money. Could be that she just liked them, but yeah, as you know, every single thing anyone posts is a hint as to their future. If you're a regular here, you'll fully know that this video you're watching right now is a massive hint as to the future of this channel and Mercedes Money. Yeah, we're teasing working together. That's definitely what's happening here. Let's go back to Dave Meltzer, one of the preeminent wrestling journalists. His platform, The Wrestling Observer or Figure 4 Online. A report written up by Brian Rose states that Mercedes Money is no longer in talks with WWE. Talks between the two sides have reportedly fallen through. Now, this is a quote from a Fightful Select report. Fightful Select is behind a paywall, so I can't quote them here. Fightful Select reported that talks between WWE and the former Sasha Banks have fallen through. WWE sources told Fightful on Friday night that the two sides were no longer in negotiations regarding a return. The back and forth talks between the two, while friendly, ultimately failed to progress, and WWE side walked as a result of the stalemate. There's a lot of interpretation there, but let's highlight the quote. We're no longer in negotiations regarding a return. That's massively inconclusive. Firstly, as we've said previously, this comes via a re-quote of a paywalled source which had information from WWE sources and not Sasha Banks, Mercedes Money, whatever it may be that you refer to her by, or in fact directly involved in the actual negotiations. That immediately muddies the water. Also, we're no longer involved in negotiations regarding a return. That could literally mean that the contract's been signed. It is actually Brian Rose who is saying the talks, while friendly, ultimately failed to progress and WWE's side walked. This is one of the biggest problems we're going to have with all of this. This at best is fourth-hand information and an interpretation of a report based on a source, based on maybe being involved in what's actually happening. This is at best fourth-hand information and an interpretation of that. Now, Brian Rose does not at any point attempt to state that they know what's going to be happening. They make it very clear they are reporting what somebody else thinks. And this is wrestling media in a nutshell. Because he is reporting what somebody else thinks. They are reporting it behind a paywall. So you have to pay to know what they think. And they think what they think because of what someone has told them without any indication as to how involved those someone are. I also want to highlight how threadbare some of these reports are and some of these supposed teases. Via Wrestling Inc., backstage update Mercedes Money's talks with WWE for potential return. And there is no update here, just to be clear. Kevin Tall is reporting on a message that Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Money, sent out on Twitter. Happy holidays, all I want for Christmas is money, she writes. He interprets, Taking into account that those first 3 words sat alone on their own lines and each starts with a certain 8th letter of the alphabet, some users are calling it a coy reference to WWE's head of creative, Paul Triple H Levesque. That's the update. That's it. That's all they have to actually add to this situation. There are often times when someone's trending on Twitter, or it feels like everyone is reporting and confirming the same thing. More often than not, one report has been made and 15 different people are saying the exact same thing and adding guesses on top of it. It's surely pretty clear that there is real threadbare information. This hint might just be Mercedes having fun, knowing that she'll whip the entire world into a lava and prove how valuable she can be simply by getting people talking. I also feel it's worth pointing out that Mercedes might well be reading the headlines. She might well be at some point going onto Twitter and seeing, oh, why am I trending this time? Let's make it worse. If you're a wrestler, getting people talking is your number one job. If the entire world is talking about you, you are a star. She doesn't need to wrestle to be as big as she possibly can be. Y'all will do it for her. We now get further confusion via Booker T. Booker T works directly with and is employed by the WWE, and he has his own podcast platform where he needs to be more careful what he says. These quotes are via eWrestling News. On his belief Money will return to WWE in 2024, it seems like she's been gone too long. I hope she comes back. There's a different way of thinking in town. Maybe some of the issues that she was not too pleased with before are no longer a factor. It says it on his shirt, hell froze over, and CM Punk came back after 10 years, you know what I mean? There's a lane for Sasha Banks to stash Mercedes money, and I'm making a prediction, I'm calling it, she's back in 2024. In WWE, it's a done deal in my mind. Booker T has absolutely no idea if Mercedes money is returning to the WWE. He actually makes that clear in the quote, but because he's made a prediction, a whole lot of fans have decided that this is adding more fuel to the fire and that she must be coming back. He really needs to be more careful what he says, knowing that there is a certain amount of audience, a very small, maybe 2-3% of Mercedes fans who will attack anyone who says anything that they don't agree with. Almost all wrestling fandoms have this. Mercedes just has a very large fan base. So unfortunately, we're learning a lot recently about abusive fandom. Over the years, a lot of people, including myself, have received death threats for reporting accurate information on Mercedes money. This naturally makes it a lot harder for people to actually report accurately, because they know if they don't report on both sides, they're going to receive death threats, and they don't know how accurate these death threats might be. Speaking personally, I received 2 death threats to my personal home phone number, which can only be shared by one or both of 2 wrestling journalists who had that number. I received 2 death threats because of reporting that there was a meeting about NXT UK closing. 2 years later, before Clash at the Castle, Triple H confirmed that NXT did have meetings about it closing so that it could transfer to NXT Europe. I reported accurate information and received death threats for it, and this is also why my name is banned on a lot of different outlets, because I accurately reported that NXT UK had meetings about what they would do if it closed. On the 2nd of January, Cultaholic posted the following. Revealed, which is a buzzword they start so much with. Why WWE talks in Mercedes money collapsed. The quote comes from Dave Meltzer. She was absolutely negotiating with WWE. From what I was told, they were far apart on money. We were told by multiple people they were far apart on money. And that's the same thing from a year ago, if you remember, when before she went to New Japan, when there was all the talk that she might come back with Vince gone and Paul Levesque there. Little fun fact there, Dave Meltzer is quoting himself. He is the one who reported last year that she wanted more money. And he's using his own report as evidence that his report is accurate. I have major questions of anyone who quotes themselves to confirm themselves. When I report something, I'm very happy to see if a couple of weeks later it's reported by a different reporter. That just confirms my accuracy because other people are independently confirming what I've already said. When an actual wrestling journalist independently verifies themselves, that always raises a question mark in my book. One thing addition that no one seems to be talking about is the fact that it's not all about the money for Mercedes Money, and this I feel is why she posted a tweet saying, "For all I want for Christmas is money." This seems to me like she is mocking Dave Meltzer and all the reporting about her. That's what it feels like to me, because to my knowledge, it's not about the money, it's about the money. It's about the branding and name Mercedes Moné. We go now to that bastion of wrestling journalism, Ringside News, who interpret things their own way. The headline is WWE higher-up confident in securing Mercedes money. The quote comes directly from PWInsider. Interestingly enough, there is still a lot of talk about money returning to WWE. According to PWInsider, it was reported that WWE would more than love to have money back in the company. It was further noted that one higher-up is confident in securing Mercedes money. Couple of things. That's not double-sourced. That is a single source that they are quoting. And that's also now the headline. WWE are confident that Mercedes money is going to come back. That certainly contradicts a lot of the reporting, unless that original quote stating "we are no longer in negotiations for a return" actually did mean that that's because she signed. You understand now why this is getting so confusing. It's also, by the way, a misquote. Let's look at the actual PWInsider article that had been the source for Ringside News. There is no mention that I can see of WWE higher-ups. Let's see what they've actually put. Now, there's a number of things here. I'm just going to focus on WWE sources noted several factors, including changing ownership and the Paul Levesque creative regime firmly in place, set the stage for the two sides to reset their relationship and for Venado to potentially return. We are told the company would absolutely love to have her back and have made that clear, and that at least early discussions between the sides have happened, which I can confirm that they have. Scrolling down past so many goddamn ads, PWInsider, here's the part that they are saying. One WWE source felt confident about her eventual return as Sasha Banks, but cautioned that until a deal is signed, nothing is ever official. Before anyone asks, we've not heard anything since in regard to her in AEW or New Japan. So that's what they actually said on PWInsider. One WWE source felt confident about her eventual return, but cautioned until a deal is signed, nothing is ever official. To return to Ringside News, they have quoted PWInsider as saying, "One WWE higher-up is confident in securing Mercedes money." These two things are not the same. Finally, on the WWE side, before we get to the AEW side, we go to SportsKeeda, who today compiled a collection of fan quotes stating that Mercedes money is returning. Their headline, "There's no chance she doesn't come back." Let's see what their sources are for this information, shall we? Let's scroll down to the tweets. Asad Ali, "There's no chance she doesn't come back." There's your headline. Anthony S, "I think this means Sasha is coming back." Bull66, "Sasha is definitely coming to WWE." BCTO21, although there's a 211 in the hand, that's confusing. "Oh yeah, Mercedes definitely going to WWE." It continues much the same. People just reacting to the fact that Mercedes money has friends by stating that we have her returning. Then they transfer this into WWE veteran Dutch Mantel, who works for their site, doesn't want AEW to sign Mercedes money. It is another example of something being presented as news when it is not. That is sheer fan opinion. And to their credit, SportsKeeda, it's in the headline, it's just fans saying it. But it certainly does continue to muddy the water. What we've heard about Mercedes money is simple. There are reports, mostly third or fourth hand information, stating that there have been offers made to Mercedes and that they have not gone through. These came about 2 weeks ago, and since then they've been carried everywhere. Booker T thinks maybe she'll be back. That has nothing to do with the reports in question. Ringside News is misquoting PWInsider that WWE confident she'll be back, which was not said at any point. And then SportsKeeda have given us, well, fans think she'll definitely be back, which has nothing to do with the actual reports. On top of that, anything Mercedes says, and she is a troll, I've said this before and I'll say it again, she knows what she's doing, is interpreted as sending hints to fans, when in reality there is every suggestion that she's just mocking the wrestling media. A wrestling media which has been bad to her in the past. Before we continue into the AEW side, One quick word of note, if you want Mercedes money news, you will know that the Tom Colohue channel's got you covered. 4 weeks ago, we did a 1-hour live stream talking about Sasha Banks' WWE return offer, what the deal entailed, and why I didn't think she was going to go for it. That's 2 weeks before any of these reports from a Dave Meltzer and from a Fightful Select started to hit the ground. Now, 3 months ago, why Sasha Banks left the WWE to become AEW's Mercedes Mone. That detailed all of her issues with wrestling media and the many reasons she was going into an AEW contract, which we're about to start talking about. Finally, literally 1 day ago, this was Friday night, spoiler warning, updates on the Four Horsewomen, which detailed what I'm about to detail now about where Sasha Banks, now Mercedes money, seems most likely to head. Subscribe if you haven't and like the video. Let's talk now about the opportunity for Mercedes money in AEW. We search for Mercedes money to AEW and the first thing that pops up is via SportsKeeda. New reports have just surfaced continuing to link her to AEW, revealing she could join the promotion sooner rather than later. Importantly, previously the boss was rumoured to be heading to WWE, but during conversations about remuneration, apparently they were far apart, essentially stating they weren't offering enough money for her. Once again, I query this, and you'll find out more on that very soon. We start once again with Cultaholic. This one doesn't start with revealed in all caps. Mercedes money and AEW no longer have working plans 16th of December. To quote a Q&A on Fightful Select, Ross Sapp reported, the once working plans for AEW and Mercedes are no longer working plans. There is very little additional information, though they do still throw the word revealed in there because, you know, SEO. The phrase no working plans is a difficult one, because it literally could mean a whole variety of things. It could mean that the working plans that they were working on are now finalised and in place. It could mean that, well, right now she's not talking to us, she's talking to someone else. And it could mean it's the holiday period, we're not in discussions. There's a number of different things that could mean. And in no way has it been clarified, it's just a quote from Fightful Select in a Q&A. That didn't stop the rumour mill from swirling though. WrestleTalk. Mercedes money teases fun year amid AEW speculation. To be clear, they're writing an article about the fact that she thinks she's going to have a fun year. That's newsworthy. Mercedes money has teased a fun year amid speculation she is soon set to sign with All Elite Wrestling. There's been a lot of speculation about the future of Mercedes money, the former Sasha Banks, over the past few weeks. Since then, WWE sources have noted that talks between her and the company have fallen through, and that she was expected by many within the industry to be AEW bound. Taken to Instagram, she teased this year is gonna be fun. What the hell is newsworthy about that? We're back to ringside news now. AEW confirmed negotiations with Mercedes money for company debut. Except, firstly, AEW didn't confirm a damn thing. This was reported, firstly, by PWInsider. PWInsider reported they've received confirmation AEW is in contact with Mercedes money. Let's follow this link and actually read the article that they're quoting from. That's just the main page of PWInsider. Okay, so where's the article? Where is it that PWInsider says this? Once again, I have to ask questions of anyone who states a source, but doesn't actually direct you to the source so that you can follow up and fact check it. We now go to Fightful, where Ross Sapp attempts to rumour kill a number of different reports, all of which are reported to have first appeared on Fightful Select. Now, there's quite a lot here that we need to dive into. They say, for example, we have not been told that this means that the door is closed. This is as regards AEW. For example, Wrestling News Source aggregated our Q&A with the headline, planned for Mercedes money AEW debut cancelled. To be clear, we have no information and never reported anything as it related to her debuting. They do clarify what they have heard. Start to hear rumours around the time of Grand Slam that Mercedes to AEW could be picking up, and then appearance could happen soon. But further down, speaking New Japan, Mercedes money is not currently signed to the company, contrary to a recent SportsKeeda post that said she was. Also not true from that post, Fightful never reported Mercedes demanded a huge sum of money from WWE. This made its way around non-reputable Facebook aggregators, which we corrected numerous times on our own page. To be clear, there's a number of different sources which state that Mercedes money did ask for a lot of money from WWE, but you can't quote Fightful as saying that. Primarily because this was a Q&A and at Fightful Select behind a paywall, it's difficult to actually provide the fact check to it as much as anything. Dave Meltzer has said it's about money. I can't find evidence of Sean Ross Sapp saying that. I can also confirm that Mercedes Money is no longer contract with New Japan. I reported that several months previous. One last thing that they say, we were informed that a rumour had emerged on Twitter last week was false. There were tweets that caught traction claiming that the creative team was told to come up with ideas for Mercedes' return. Regardless of if her return is planned or not, that isn't something that anyone we've heard from close to creative has been told to prepare for. It's worth noting creative was also not prepped for CM Punk's return, but for most others, they are. Now, this entire paragraph has serious questions. There is no source for this apparent rumour, no evidence of this apparent rumour, and also, while they say that rumour is wrong, they also say that rumour might be right. So yeah, I don't really feel that this clarification clears much up. We go back to Dave Meltzer at this point on Wrestling Observer. Mercedes Money expected to debut on AEW TV soon. Now, just to scroll down, it does say our own Dave Meltzer wrote on Sunday's Daily Update, AEW sources expect Money to start on TV with the company soon. However, he noted that until she signed a contract, nothing is certain. On last night's show, there were no teases for Mercedes Money or for her appearing Wednesday in Jacksonville. What I know is that AEW does expect her to start on TV soon, but as noted, until it happens and the contract itself is signed, I wouldn't consider anything 100%. If you want more information about the contract status of the actual signing for Mercedes Money, check out Spoiler Warning from Friday, where I go into more detail on that. Finally, we go to SportsKeeda. Disappointing update on Mercedes Money's AEW rumours. Now, disappointing certainly shows that there is some personal opinion here from Jacob Terrell. Let's have a look at what the disappointing report actually is. Fightful Select reports they have heard nothing of Money appearing at tonight's show. Should be noted there is a multi-woman match on this week's Dynamite featuring many of the company's top female stars, which presents a similar setup to that of Saraya's AEW debut at Dynamite Grand Slam in 2022. As of now, there's been no word on whether the former Sasha Banks is set to make an appearance. Fightful notes, however, that her debut has been discussed. So this disappointing update is that behind a paywall, it's been reported that there's no news. What's newsworthy about someone else reporting that there is no news? One last attempt from SportsKeeda. This was yesterday, the day before they reported on all those fans who were convinced Mercedes was returning. On the Mat Men podcast, Andrew Zarian recently addressed the possibility of Mercedes Money heading to AEW. He revealed he found out about a part of the storyline, believes she could be a part of this. Zarian still expected her to make the move to the Jacksonville-based promotion, but did not have a specific timeline. I still expect her, Mercedes Money, to go to AEW. I haven't heard anything other than that. People are like, how are you so sure? Well, I was told a very specific piece of that story that would mean she is going if she is involved in this. I never said this week. I didn't say next week. I said it's soon, and I don't know when soon is. Soon could be 6 weeks. Soon could be 4 weeks. It's soon, sooner than later. A couple of things I immediately want to pick up on this. The first one, they didn't even go to Andrew Zarian himself. They took the quote from a third party who took the quote from Andrew Zarian. So as we pointed out earlier, the news about Mercedes Money has gone to a secondary source, which, if we're being optimistic, has gone to Andrew Zarian, who's reported it and been quoted by Wrestle Purists, who has now been quoted by SportsKeeda. That is a fifth-hand source at best. That is a fist-hand source at best. This is where people are getting their news from. A fifth-hand source. Meanwhile, if you check out my videos on Sasha Banks, I can promise you at worst they're a third-hand source, so they're at least a damn sight closer. Several months ago, I reported that Mercedes Money and Tony Khan were actively negotiating for an AEW debut for Mercedes Money. This has now been confirmed by a number of different sources in the last few weeks. 4 weeks ago, I reported that Mercedes Money was having a few second thoughts as regards AEW. 2 weeks later, there were reports that they were no longer actively negotiating our working plans. 4 weeks ago, I reported that the WWE had made a massive return offer to see Mercedes Money return as Sasha Banks. I also reported why there was some hesitation about it. 2 weeks later, behind paywalls, this news was confirmed. Yesterday, I confirmed exactly what was happening, and today I can state openly Mercedes Money's most likely landing spot is AEW. The WWE do still have the opportunity, until that contract is signed, to make an offer that changes things. But to my knowledge, Nick Khan isn't particularly interested in doing so. Subscribe for more, comment below where you think Mercedes money is headed and what you think she'll be doing in that time. In the meantime, check out more WTF Wrestling, and if you want more news on Mercedes money, you know where to go.